We really try students to become more independent. So also there was a big, I think, step in critical thinking in research that was, well, not forced, but there was like a new focus, like be more aware of that we're trying to bring up independent students, much more self-learning, and we think that's what it requires for today's market. And specifically for art education, I think a new idea was the multidisciplinarity. In the market, we see so many artists, designers in what we call hybrid practices, like they work together with an animation, with an animator, sometimes they work together, I don't know, with dance or theater, and sometimes they work together in multiple disciplines. So they need to be able to switch, to be flexible. And also, they need that network of I think the core value is the idea that we don't have all the knowledge. We're trying to become a learning organization or a learning community. To make them to connect to the industry. I think sometimes, even though we have a difficult course, experimental course, you know, the multidisciplinarity is big and challenging, these students can still enter traditional markets. But I still think they have the cutting edge or the advantage that they have seen the possibility of this multidisciplinary approach. We think we start from illustration, for example, and then throughout the course, students must be brought into contact with multidisciplinary projects, learn much more to work with fine artist students, with fashion students, and work on projects that are not specifically to the core of the disciplines. So you have bigger projects, more complex projects, more related to society. So these multidisciplinary courses have been framed within our institute within either a commercial practice, a autonomous practice, or a social practice. Well, it's a fashionable word, but it is a lot about drive. Like, can you identify your own needs, why you desire to study with us? The selection of skill is less important than the selection of mentality and also the willingness to be collaborative. The concept of this sole artist as a genius who gets supported by one master and copy the master, that has to be out of the system. If that's your expectation in this institute, that's not going to work. We always do evaluations with at least 2 teachers. We really try students to become more independent. It is project-based in the sense that it's a bigger, complex problem, and teachers all provide their own parts. So there's a teacher who's more focused on the research parts. There's a teacher focused more on the cultural or internationalization part of the project. There's a teacher more related to the business part of it. So every teacher does have its own program, but by coming together, by doing classes together, there's much more collaboration between teachers. There are 2 types of art institutes in the Netherlands. I think all bachelor degrees are state funded. There's a direct relation. If you have a bachelor degree, then it is state funded. And the difference can be that there are independent art institutes, which gives them more autonomy. And we are related to the Hogeschool Rotterdam, the Higher Rotterdam Institute or Academy. And that means that we also have to comply to some of their rules and aspects.
Well, I think a lot of the assignments here in the school are pretty commercial, and that's what I don't really like about it, because I want to be more like free art, fine arts, and yeah, that's actually the thing I don't like, but I think this school is really preparing me well for the future. So.
So I think it's a little bit of both, because you do get the techniques here, but it doesn't mean you have to follow them. I think it's more like you come here, there are a lot of artistic people here, so you get inspired. So I think it's a little bit of both. But I would not say that you have to get the techniques here, you could also do it by yourself. But I think this is a very good place to get it. So.
Well, what I'm experiencing now at this school is that it's actually a lot more free, because I already did a previous course before this in a lower grade, lower kind of level. And over there we were very much limited to certain kinds of forms of how to express our things. It's not really much art related, it was very much graphic design.
Not actually. I don't think they reflect it that good, because it's a lot of personal insight in the person that's doing the end project. So eventually I think that has to change a little bit to get a more specific view of the program.
Well, actually, in our education, we always have the goal, which we clarify to the students. What is the desire of this project, and we have certain specific criteria which we measure at the end. We try to be open in that. We have formative testing, summative testing. So, actually, I think in art education we are much more focused on process and feedback instead of products and results. So even we do use gradings, but we always try to specify what a student can learn from it. So what can a student take towards the next assignment?
We've had to make this poster for London Underground, and it's how long? It's like a 4 or 5 week project, and so this is my response. And we had the tagline, "There's always time with the Underground," and my kind of idea was to make it seem like it's kind of like a relaxed environment, and people have time to like stop and get a coffee, or there's like people to help you with something, and yeah, so there's like a lot of time to like, and there's a lot of help, and like it doesn't feel like you're rushing or anything. So yeah, there's like different characters that people can relate to in the image.